Hey, what's up? Welcome back to a new video. Welcome to Combat Ready HQ. Today we're going to be looking at Special Activity Center, CIA's Covert Tactical Unit. I've actually not heard of these. If you have heard of them, then comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are. Are they similar or more like above, Delta Force? We'll find out in this video. I'm guessing none of the footage is actually about them, because if they're that secretive, there's no footage about them. So really interesting to see what it is they actually do. America, they have so many different sort of units, special forces, tactical units. It'd be interesting to hear about this one. Make sure you can go and check out the original video in the description. Give them a like, give them a follow, and please, if you could, like and subscribe. Combat Ready HQ. The support is hugely appreciative, and I'm grateful, and it helps push the channel so I can get more great videos out to you. Let's get into this. Let's see what they do, and then I'll give my review on what my thoughts are. We've got our coffee as usual. Hope you got yours. Let's go.
Agents of a unit so secret that if compromised, the US government usually deny all knowledge of them. Today, we're going to tell you about CIA's Special Activation Center. With fewer than 100 operators, SAC is regarded as the most covert special operations force operating within the United States.
Above
Despite
Delta.
Not being a military unit, SAC is a functioning special missions unit with a variety of tasks, including long-range surveillance, bomb damage assessments, prisoner snatching, material retrieval, and sabotage.
Prisoner snatching. Jesus. More secretive and way less operators than Delta. So these are right up there. They've got to be insane operators to be able to get into this and do this sort of stuff.
SAC and how it works. Being the most covert special operations force, the SAC chooses members from other special mission organizations like Delta Force, the Naval Special Warfare Development Group, the Intelligence Support Activity, and the 24th Special Tactics Squadron. Most recipients of the Distinguished Intelligence Cross and Intelligence Star during hostilities or incidents that involve the CIA have been SAC paramilitary operations officers. This is one of the highest honors bestowed by the CIA in appreciation of exceptional bravery and excellence in the line of duty. SAC have been so active and useful over the years that the majority of the stars on the memorial wall at CIA headquarters represent agents who died on active duty. SAC Group provides the US President with an alternative when covert military operations or diplomatic efforts are not practical or politically impossible. Moreover, unlike other US Special Mission troops, SAC can be directly directed by the President or the National Security Council.
This is disposable people. These are the ones that will just go in, get the job done. They don't exist. Complete different identities, I'm guessing. They don't exist. They go in. The mission isn't actually official. It never happened. If you get caught or die, then it's up to you. You're on your own. Like, I thought that was a little bit like Delta, but these are even well above them. So,
interestingly, SAC has a significantly smaller membership than the majority of the other special missions groups. As the direct action branch of the CIA's Directorate of Operations, SAC carries out unconventional warfare, ambushes, raids, sabotage, and other direct action missions. SAC's Political Division. As part of American foreign policy, the Political Action Division of SAC engages in covert psychological operations, commonly referred to as black propaganda, as well as covert influence to bring about political change in other nations. The most important type of political activity undertaken by SAC is covert interference in foreign elections. The secret group provides financial assistance to supported candidates, media counseling, technical assistance for public relations, voter turnout or political organizing activities, legal know-how, ad campaigns, help with poll watching, and other direct action strategies. Agents such as subverted government officials exert influence on policy decisions by encouraging them to act in ways that advance US policy objectives while acting in their official capacities. The SAC worked mostly in the background until the War on Terror increased awareness of SAC's presence. Consequently, SAC's paramilitary units began to enter Afghanistan in the fall of 2001 with the mission of pursuing al-Qaeda commanders, facilitating the entry of US Army Special Forces, and leading the United Islamic Front for the Salvation of Afghanistan in its fight against the Taliban government. Prior to the 2003 invasion of Iraq, SAC units also defeated Ansar al-Islam in Iraqi Kurdistan and organized, trained, and led the Kurdish Peshmerga forces to beat the Iraqi army in northern Iraq. SAC is also equipped with a full combined arms covert paramilitary. The heart of each branch is made up of paramilitary operations officers, who frequently switch between them to obtain experience in all facets of SAC. As a result, paramilitary operations officers are prepared to work in a variety of settings. Many American security analysts consider these officers to be the most elite of the U.S. Special Missions units, since they are drawn from the most highly trained units in the U.S. military and given considerable further training to become CIA clandestine intelligence operatives.
So these are the best of the best. You think of like DevGru being the best of the SEALs, Delta just being the best of all services. There are two other sort of like tier one services there within the US military. The SAC are basically taken from all of them, picking the top guys and then training them even more. And then they're doing what you think they do or what you see in movies, but people don't actually understand. This is actually what happens. They're going into other countries because obviously the US being the number one, power, as we say, they want to influence other countries to support them and help them. So these are going in to influence their elections, voting rights, persuading certain MPs, political parties over there, we give you this much money if you support us in this, send us this, arms deals most probably. You see it in the movies, and a lot of people who have never most probably served in the military or any sort of services don't realise there is a lot of covert operations, a lot of stuff that most people won't have agree with, but go on to stop these sort of groups that are dangerous and are willing to do the worst to get their own point across. And these are the guys that are going in. Like I said, they've most probably got top secret identities, different passports, and they don't exist and will never exist, especially if they ever get caught. But that is what goes on in the world.
Special Operations Group. The SAC offers a pool from which the agency's various departments can recruit qualified individuals to create a Special Operations Group, or SOG. As instructed by the President, SOGs are short-term squads that conduct paramilitary operations such as sabotage, material retrieval and snatching, bomb damage assessment, counter-terrorism operations, raids, hostage rescues, and other tasks. The Special Activities Group is in charge of high-threat military and covert operations in the US. As a result, the government does not want to be open affiliated with it, and none of the unit's members are allowed to wear anything that may be mistaken for belonging to the US government. As the Directorate of Operations Action Branch for the CIA, SAC carries out direct action missions like raids, ambushes, sabotage, targeted executions, and unconventional warfare.
Targeted
like
executions.
And commanding foreign guerrilla and military.
Actually just said that. Targeted executions. Don't know how true that most probably is true. Openly going out and, don't want to say it on YouTube, but yeah, executing them. Wow.
Formations in battle. When operating in hostile settings, SAC also employs paramilitary officers to undertake special reconnaissance that may be intelligence or military driven. Due to their extensive training as case officers, paramilitary operations officers carry out covert human intelligence operations all around the world.
What is the difference between them and Delta, though? Because doubts don't
It's worth
technically exist, they
mentioning that
say.
the missions of SAC are varied as they depend on recruitment, instruction, and command of personnel in military operations. Unlike other special missions teams, SAC agents integrate special operations and covert intelligence capabilities in one person. These people can function in any environment, land, air, or at sea, with little to no assistance. The SAC paramilitary officers' biggest strengths are operational agility, adaptability, and deniability.
With unlimited
They frequently
funding.
work in small teams of 2 to 10 personnel, with some missions being handled by a single officer. All members of these teams typically have substantial military tactical experience and a unique set of specialized talents not found in any other unit. Paramilitary operations officers are highly trained intelligence case officers who have all the covert abilities to gather human intelligence and, more crucially, to find assets among the indigenous troops they are training.
Auto-drive buses, just think of the views!
The city, your office, the people, your muse.
An excellent...
Missions in enemy territory. Paramilitary operations officers have played a key role against the Mujahideen forces fighting the Soviet army during the 1980s Soviet-Afghan War. Despite the fact that the CIA in general, and a Texas congressman named Charlie Wilson in particular, have garnered most of the attention, Michael G. Vickers was the primary architect of this plan. To identify senior leadership targets, SAC forces also carried out high-risk secret reconnaissance missions behind Iraqi lines. The early assassination attempts on Iraqi President Saddam Hussein and his top generals were the result of these missions. Although the initial airstrike against Hussein did not succeed in killing him, it did successfully remove his capacity to lead and govern his army. The command's capacity to respond to and maneuver against the American-led invasion force was considerably diminished by other successful attacks against important generals. Key Iraqi army officers were also persuaded by SAC operations officials to turn over their units once the fighting began, or to refrain from resisting the invading army. Personnel from SAC also took part in the civil war in El Salvador. Some claim that the methods used to question detainees in El Salvador were precursors to those later employed in Iraq and Afghanistan. In fact, it was called the Salvador Option. Officers of the agency were under strong orders not to take part in interrogations of inmates and to stay away from the location where they were being held. Secret attacks in Pakistan.
Ooh, Pakistan.
Other than El Salvador, SAC was particularly active on the ground in Pakistan, targeting Al-Qaeda members for unmanned aerial vehicle intervention.
That's where they were
in addition
hiding.
to training Pakistani paramilitary and regular army personnel, while also conducting HVT target operations alongside Pakistani special forces.
SSG
Back
badge,
then,
isn't it?
when George W. Bush was president, he gave the go-ahead for SAC to conduct targeted airstrikes that resulted in the successful elimination of 8 senior Al-Qaeda members
Nice.
before he left office. Rashid Rauf, who was known as the architect of a 2006 attempt to blow up planes traveling over the Atlantic, and the guy suspected of planning the September 20, 2008 bombing of the Islamabad Marriott Hotel,
Look at that crate,
which
yeah.
claimed 53 lives, were among those killed by the SAC officials. After these 2 major killings, covert attacks greatly escalated under former President Obama. These continuous attacks resulted in as many as 50 Al-Qaeda members being killed in the month of May 2009 alone.
Oof.
After that, 60 Taliban members were killed in June 2009 while attending a funeral for fighters who had died in earlier CIA attacks. The CIA reported on August 6, 2009 that an SAC drone strike in Pakistan had killed Baitullah Mehsud, who was one of the most prominent leaders among the local militants. SAC Center.
Okay, where's this then?
The Special Activities Center is divided into 3 categories: ground, maritime, and airborne.
Yeah.
All land assaults and land-based combat operations are handled by the ground branch, whereas every water operation and assault is handled by the maritime branch. Moreover, the air branch flies a wide variety of aircraft types in
I bet they
civilian
do.
markings. and is the modern equivalent of Air America, serving the US throughout the world. The Air Branch also sometimes helps in transporting the Ground Branch if it needs to insert into a particular location. The Armor and Special Programs Branch is responsible for the development, testing, and covert acquisition of new personnel and vehicle armor, as well as the maintenance of stockpiles of ordnance and weapons used by the SAC, almost all of which must be obtained from covert sources abroad, in accordance with US congressional directives. This is done in order to give SAC operatives and their foreign trainees plausible deniability. SAC under former president. Under the former president.
So it'd be interesting to know what actual technology, kit and equipment they have. It must be absolutely insane. They obviously, these types of guys, girls, they get unlimited funding most probably. Walk in, I need this much money or I need this. But I really would like weapon systems, clothing allowance that they most probably get. What sort of, like the army now, the military are getting these smartphones now to do mapping, sending coordinates to do fires. What sort of technical equipment they can actually do with such like phones, radio equipment, sat phones. Love to know, like night vision goggles. They must have top of the range of everything, like no expense spared. What sort of vehicles they have in, how are they kitted out? Same with like the planes, what they get in, like unmarked helicopters. Really, I'd love to see. You're never going to see it because they technically don't exist. But, they're mostly plain clothes most of the times. But obviously they need this sort of type of equipment, night vision goggles, weapon systems, ammunition, what it is they're actually using and what they actually get. Especially when it comes to technology-wise, like communications, etc.
Donald Trump, SAC started sending out small teams of paramilitary officers to hunt down terrorists, and they were granted main command of CT operations in Afghanistan. Despite being the most covert unit in US special operations, many books have been written about the exploits of CIA paramilitary officers, including Shooting at the Moon, The Story of America's Clandestine War in Laos by Warner and Comboy, and Feet to the Fire, CIA Covert Operations in Indonesia by Comboy and Morrison. It's worth mentioning that the majority of experts view SAC as the principal force for unconventional warfare, whether that warfare entails inciting or suppressing an insurgency abroad. That's it from today's video. We hope you enjoyed the content, and if you did, show some love and hit that like button.
Go and give him a like.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any of the amazing videos we have in store for you.
It's all very interesting, isn't it? We all know, like I said, a lot of people maybe who haven't done military service don't know exactly about covert operations going on, what special forces are doing. They are all around the globe and they are stopping people from doing very dangerous stuff and saving lives. But it would be very interesting to know, like, what kit and equipment they're doing, where are they actually, what they're actually trained in. They're mostly trained in, obviously, airborne, so they need to parachute in, phone hacking, breaking and entering. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to know what they're actually skilled in, what they can actually do, especially when it comes to reconnaissance. When you go and nap behind enemy lines, like such high value targets and gathering such intelligence, what it is they're actually doing, where they actually are. You're never really going to know this stuff, but really interesting. I really want to get these books. If anyone knows of any other good books as well, have any more information on this, then please do let me know, as it would be great to know, how much of this information is true, because how hard is it to get this information? But yeah, really interesting. Never heard of them. Special Activities Centre, CIA's Covert Tactical Unit. Definitely going to check a little bit more out of these. See if I can find out what their training actually entails, what sort of courses they do. Demolition, diving. Obviously, they can parachute in, phone hacking. I bet they do all that sort of stuff. So thanks for watching. Let us know what you want to see next, and I'll see you soon.